Hi everyone, welcome again to Kamau City. This is Kamau. If you're joining us for the first time, please consider subscribing. Now, we're continuing our game, this or that. This is part 2. So I'm going to go through 12 pairs of words asking, do I prefer this or that? And I'm going to choose which one I prefer, and then you're going to tell me in the comments which one you prefer. Now I'm shooting at night for the first time. I'm hoping this will come out good. I tried shooting earlier today, but guess what? It's summer in the tropics and I was sweating like crazy. Actually still sweating a bit now, but I thought I'd experiment and see how it comes out. So part 2, this or that. First pair of words, hot or cold. Which do I prefer, hot or cold? I typically like things at room temperature. Actually, I don't like either hot or cold. But if I have to choose, I would choose hot. I don't tolerate cold very well. Those who know me know that AC, if we're in the AC, everybody else is fine and I'm shivering, right? Certain times of the year, I live in Jamaica and that's in the tropics, but certain times of the year, for example, from late December, January, February, I have to be wrapped up in my blanket. So if I'm going out in the early morning to take my children to the school bus, I'm in my little baby blanket and I'm shivering. I don't tolerate cold very well. If it's food, if it's hot, I'm going to put it down for it to cool. So whether it's porridge, tea, soup, if I'm served any of those things and it's hot, I'm not going to have it same time. I'm going to put it up, put it away for a bit to cool. And if I get something that's cold, I'm going to put it down to thaw out. So I tend to like things at room temperature. I don't like the AC much. The first time I went to New York and I stepped out of that airport, I swear I was stepping into a freezer, and it wasn't even winter. It was like the tail end of winter. The first time I went to New York was probably March. It wasn't even the dead of winter, right? But I was so frigid stepping out of that. I remember that day I stepped out of the JFK airport and I swore I was stepping into a freezer, and I'm sure everybody else was fine, right? So hot or cold, I'm choosing hot. Number 2, dog or cat. I would tend to say cat, even though I'm not really a dog or cat person. I don't really believe in keeping pets. I feel about pets the same as I feel about the zoo. I think that animals should be left, to their own devices and not so much into the pet keeping. But for some reason, dogs and cats always find my house. They always take over my house, and of course my children welcome them, feed them. So strays always find their way in. And I prefer cats because they tend to be cleaner. It would seem that they would take less care, if you did have them as a pet. Plus, they have spunk, they have attitude, and I love that about them. Dogs, are more docile. And the cats that live where I live in Portmore, they fight the dogs. They chase the dogs away. I've seen a cat rail up and the dog had to flee. Now, something happened not so long ago. Mother cat, as usual, found my house and to have her deliver her litter. They're always delivering their litter somewhere in the house, and then my children will find them and keep them until they get to a certain age and they make their way out. But mother cat delivered her litter, and something happened that really, I was so stunned. I knew it happened and I heard about it and so on, but her kitten was ill. One of the kittens was ill. And mother cat took the kitten, brought the kitten into my bathroom, and she ate the kitten. And when I went into the bathroom and saw her eating the kitten, it's like it broke my heart. I knew these things happen, but it's like I was saying, mother cat, how could you? How could you eat your baby? And I called my children to look, and I say, see what happens? I'm gonna eat you if you misbehave. But I was just so, it's like I was heartbroken, to see her. And but then it reminded me that, hey, this is an animal. As much as we would like to think that we can domesticate them, they're animals and they behave on instinct. The dogs also tend to find me, even though I keep insisting I don't have a pet, I don't want a pet, they find me. The other day, a dog came to my house. He was sick and he came and he died beneath the window. For some reason, they always feel like this is a safe place for them to come, maybe because most other persons just chase them or treat them very cruelly. I tend to just let them be, but I try not to harbor them, but they always find me. So, having said all that, I'm choosing the cat. I love the spunk, the cat. They're more, the dog is more loyal, of course, and more protective. That is a given, everybody knows that. But I just like the cat's spunk, like you look at a cat and the cat will be like, who are you looking at? Who are you looking at? That kind of attitude I love. Okay, so I'm going with the cats. Number 3, inside or outside. I love the outdoors. I love the outdoors. I love the beach. I love camping, sitting in the garden, just laying on my back looking at the night sky. I love those kind of things. Hiking. Now, I grew up in the country, close to town, but still country. And we had a big yard, where we could run and play and climb trees and play dolly house over, we call it over in the bush. So whenever you hear us say we're going over bush, that's what we're going to do, play dolly house the live long day. So we were outside, fresh air, in the sunshine. That was my childhood, and that's just how I grew up. We lived close to a place called Cooper's Hill, and sometimes we'd hike up to Cooper's Hill and back. So that has just grown in me, and I love being outside. So I'm definitely choosing outside. Number 4, asleep or awake. Well, I definitely prefer to be awake. I know some people would love to sleep their life away, but when I'm awake, that's when I fulfill my dreams. So dreams are for sleeping, and then you wake up and you bring them into reality, right? So I prefer being awake. I sleep generally 4 to 5 hours, and I just have so much passion for life. I just want to be up and doing things. you know, I just cannot fathom how somebody would be lying in bed when there's so much to do, so much to learn, so much to read, so much to watch, so much interaction to take place, the conversations. Why would you want to be asleep? I've seen people all day, they're sleeping. Why? I can't do that. So I wrote a poem once, and I remember a line from the poem, and it said, my dreams are reserved for my reality. My dreams are reserved for open eyes and hands that want to touch something solid and real. I remember those lines from that poem. because you can have dreams, but they make no sense if you're not going to do something to bring them into reality. So for me, I'm choosing being awake. Wake up, reality is where it's happening. Stay woke, stay woke. All right, number 5, attack or defend. I'm definitely defend. I'm not confrontational. If I'm in a fight with somebody, they started it. And you remember that I did a video the other day about kicking someone off the roof, and he came to me not too long ago and he said, "You remember what you said to me? You remember you told me you were gonna kick me off the roof? How could you say that to me?" And I said to him, "If I threatened to do that to you, that means you definitely did me wrong, because I know I don't go around interfering with people. So if you are in the position where I tell you that, you did me wrong. Absolutely." So I'm going with defend. I do not attack. I will certainly defend myself. I'm for peace. I'm for inclusion. You in your small corner, I in my small corner, right? And we can coexist, we can get along. Once you try to come over into my space, or you try to threaten my world, my beloved, I'm going to defend it. I'm going with defend. Number 6, backseat or shotgun. Well, some of us love to ride shotgun. In Jamaica, we say, if you're gonna be at the front, you have to have front appearance, right? So what we mean by that, you have to look good. And actually, sometimes, if you're going into the taxis, in Jamaica, the taxi men have a thing where they don't like men sitting in the front seat with them, right? They like the hot girls, the pretty girls. So you don't go to the front if you know that you don't have the front appearance, which I definitely have. However, I'm gonna choose the back seat. I'm a back seater. I don't like riding shotgun. I remember a taxi man said to me, "Well, how come you always go into the back? Have you ever been in a car accident? Why is it that you avoid the front of the car? Did you have a bad experience in a crash where you were at the front of the car?" And I said, "No, there's nothing like that. I just prefer the back." I don't know, maybe in a former life I was this wealthy heiress and I had a chauffeur, perhaps. But even with this great front appearance, I'm going with the back seat. Okay, number 7, crowd or alone. I'm definitely a loner. Definitely a loner. I work better on my own. I do things better when it's just me doing my thing and I know what's to be done and I just get to it. I actually feel like, well, I don't mind company, but beyond a certain span, I think company kind of slows me down, interferes with my pace, my whole vibe, right? Especially if I was into something, I was doing something, and then somebody comes and interrupts that flow, I'll tend to be, can't wait for them to leave. So, yeah, definitely a hindrance sometimes to have company. Unless you're one of those special ones that I truly am into, then you can stay for as long as you want. So, crowd or alone, I am going with alone. Number 8, city or country. Well, as I've said, I'm a country girl. Country girl, not gonna change, so I'm going with country. And give me the bush, give me the dirt, give me the birds, give me the river. That's just me. I'm totally comfortable in the country, barefooted, in the grass, dirty, picking ripe fruits from the tree, you know. That's my kind of stuff. Country life, that's for me. I remember growing up, and where I grew up in Red Hills, we had lights in the houses, but there was no street light in my valley, and it was dark when night came, and you could see the stars. You could actually see the Milky Way. you know, stretching across the sky. You could see when it was full moon, you could see all of that brilliance. It's so difficult to see that in the city with all the lights, you know. So I definitely appreciate country life. I'm going with country. Um, Number 9, sinner or saint? Well, I'm a sinner. I'm a sinner who looks like a saint. Yeah, I'm a sinner who looks like a saint. I pretty much do what I want to do, and that's how I've always been. And I am not religious. My morality is based on common sense. See, I'm sweating. Let me wipe. Oh my. It's so hot. It's summer in the tropics. Summer in the tropics. Okay. So, yes, I was saying my morality is based on common sense. I don't, my morality is not dictated to me by what's in a book. I can look at the situation and decide how I'm going to proceed, you know, to avoid hurting others, to avoid hurting myself. And you can't hold any hellfire over me. You can't hold any eternal damnation over me. So if you want to call me a sinner, I'm totally fine with that. I believe in sex before marriage. I believe in divorce if it is necessary. And I mean, I don't go around breaking the laws of the land. But, you know, you look at the situation and you see how to proceed with the least amount of damage or hurt caused to others. And I've seen persons who claim to be religious. They cause so much mayhem, so much hurt, and yet still so holy, holier than thou. You know, and I know I don't live like that. So I'm okay with my sinning. I'm okay with my sinning. I don't live in guilt. I don't live in trepidation of what's coming after I die. I live according to my integrity and my sense of justice, and I'm good with that. So I'm going with sinner. Call me a sinner. I'm fine with that. Number 10, neat or clutter. As is, I'm gonna have to go with clutter. But I really like neat, and I'm trying to organize myself so that I know where things are and know where to go to find what. But as is, total chaos where I am right now. Total chaos. I'm working on myself. So yeah, right now I'm going with clutter. And in my defense, people who are very smart, I hear that they tend to be very untidy. And I'm very smart, so don't hold it against me for being clutter, clutter, clutter. Number 11, when you're making love, do you prefer top or bottom? Top or bottom? Okay, so making love, I prefer the bottom because it's just, you know, when you're looking up at the person and then you just see that gorgeous skin, that chocolate skin and that face, and you're just stroking his face. I prefer the bottom. I'm going with the bottom. And first of all, I don't want to be on top with my titties hanging down, my double chin hanging down and everything hanging down. No. No, no, no. I'll stay at the bottom. Last, number 12. Watching cartoons, whose side are you on, the hero or the villain? I tend to be on the side of the villain. I have a friend, he only sides with the villain no matter what. Just for the sake of it. But the villains tend to be more developed, tend to have more interesting lives, tend to be, and this is how this happens in reality too, you know. The flawed person tend to be more interesting or more fun. And that's how it is. It translates over in the cartoons or the movies. So I tend to go with the villain. The good guys, they're just too flat and sometimes quite annoying with it. So I'm going with the villain. So let's recap because you're going to write in the comments and tell me your choices. So let's recap. Hot or cold, dog or cat, inside or outside, asleep or awake, attack or defend, backseat or shotgun, crowd or alone, city or country, sinner or saint, neat or clutter, top or bottom, villain or the good guy. Tell me what you think, write in the comments, and look out for part 3, this or that.